Welcome to Why I Left, a podcast that explores the Great Resignation. I'm your host, Brian Aquart. Join me as I chronicle real stories from real people about the reasons they decided to leave their jobs during the pandemic and what has happened since. Hello, welcome to Why I Left. Now, in this first episode, I really wanted to introduce you all to me. So I'm your host, Brian Aquart. I'm an employment attorney, consultant, and newly minted podcast host. This should be fun. I'm also a husband to my brilliant wife, Chloe, and father to two amazingly energetic boys. Now, I'm a naturally curious guy who loves to learn more about people, why they do the things they do, how they govern themselves, and really how they lead. Now, as a kid, I always wanted to know the why and was never shy about asking. Now, although this occasionally annoyed my parents, they really fostered an environment where this was encouraged, and my appetite for learning about and speaking to new people grew stronger. You could ask my mom to tell you some stories about that. Now, I'm the youngest of two siblings by 10 years, so I was automatically intrigued by why my brother and his friends did the things that they did and how they interacted. They really taught me about group dynamics and the importance of learning and listening to one another. Throughout my childhood, I picked up valuable lessons from my family that really helped me successfully build my own relationships. The common themes were this: stay curious and be true to yourself. Now, after living in Indiana for about 12 years, I learned that my family would be moving to Michigan. This happened right before my freshman year of high school, and the thought of having to make new friends was really nerve-wracking. But my curiosity and authenticity is something that really saved me. Now, I got to know my surroundings by deep listening and getting to know the people within them, asking thoughtful questions, building genuine relationships that remain strong to this day. At the bowling alley, basketball court, around the neighborhood, and even at school, I'd strike up conversations that help me better understand people, their motivations, intentions, and the environment around me. Now, this transition well into college too. Throughout college, law school, and living abroad, I did the same thing and found it to be a simple and effective way for me to immerse myself in a variety of cultures and connect with people I otherwise may have not. Now, after law school, I moved to New York and became an attorney focused on employment discrimination and harassment and retaliation. It was captivating to listen to people describe their workplace stories and learn why they left voluntarily or sometimes even involuntarily. It really seemed like I found my niche, doing something that really came natural to me, getting to know people, their environments, and discovering their why. So in the past few years, I've been focused on supporting organizations to create and sustain more inclusive and open environments for their teams. I also continue to gain insight into the psychology around effective leadership and organizational behavior, which helps me influence strategies that affect and strengthen the work environment. Then, in 2020, no secret, the greatest pandemic of our lifetime hit. Sadly, many lives were lost. Jobs were eliminated, businesses went under, and life stood still across the globe. However, there was hope. Safety became the focus, and a stark reminder of the importance of family and loved ones was renewed. Now, the workplace changed forever, and despite the economic and global turmoil, people began leaving their jobs in droves. In fact, did you know, in 2021, 1 in 4 people voluntarily left their jobs, with 4.5 million leaving in November. So I wanted to know why. What caused this mass exodus coined the Great Resignation? This is something, as you can imagine, piqued my curiosity. So now for months, I've been following this movement, reading the research and supporting data, and all of it was interesting. But as I can hope you can tell, I wanted to hear directly from the people who resigned. Why did they leave their job during a time of seeming uncertainty? What impact did it have on them? What insight can they share with those who might be struggling to make a similar decision? So I decided to create a forum where this information can be shared and learned from. Why I Left explores the Great Resignation and chronicles real stories from real people about why they left their jobs during the pandemic and what has happened since. Now, my goal with this show is to encourage autonomy in listeners in similar situations so they feel comfortable speaking with their leaders to resolve issues impacting their workplace experience. I also want employers across industries to gain insight into and take notice of how the priorities and expectations of employees have changed, and hopefully they'll act accordingly. I hope you all enjoy these conversations and that it not only fosters interactive dialogue, but leads to change in the workplace. What I'll do is every couple weeks, I'll sit down with someone who left their job during the pandemic to learn more about why they left during this time and the impact it had on them. We'll also learn about, who they are, what drives them, and hear their advice for others seeking better workplace outcomes. I'm glad you all are with me on this journey. Now, if you like the sound of this, please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And visit me at whyileft.co. That's www.whyileft.co to stay up to date. Also, if you know anyone who's interested in sharing their story, please have them contact me at hello@whyileft.co. That's hello@whyileft.co. I'd love to get them on the show. All right, so that's it. That's enough about me. Let's get to these stories. So thank you all again for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Thanks again for listening to Why I Left. Be sure to join us next time for more stories from the Great Resignation. Visit us at www.whyileft.co. That's whyileft.co. And subscribe to the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.